Hello.
Then, now,
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number 44 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for SmackDown for Friday, the 27th of September 2024. It is the day before the Bad Blood pay-per-view. We are in, I believe, Marseille, France. You know, Bad Blood's in Paris, so we're in Marseille for SmackDown. And yeah, we've got a couple of stuff on our agenda tonight, including our main event, Daniel Bryan against Carmelo Hayes. We have Chris Jericho against Randy Orton. We have Sami Zayn and Neville against Grayson Waller and Baron Corbin. And another match we announced, which I can't remember exactly. But it's Swerve Scott and Bronson Reed against Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes of the Hurt Business. And a whole lot more. So without any more further ado, let's jump straight into this go-home show. We kick off the show with the Learning Trees music hitting, and he comes out. And he's giving a wave to everybody in Marseille. You know, him and Randy want to kicking off the show. But before then, he does have a microphone. He's cutting a promo. And he goes, Salut! Salut, guys. Salut. Now, boy, am I glad to be back here in the greatest city on earth, the greatest city here in Europe, Paris, France, tonight, for this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Booze, because he called it Paris instead of Marseille. Because now, tomorrow night, at Bad Blood, Aussie Open, Kyle Rogers, Brad Sawyer, they're going to make history by becoming the first ever members of the Learning Tree to capture championships here in WWE. The first of many. And to get those championships, they've got to go through the current champions, my old buddy Randall Keith Orton and his partner Ilya Dragunman. But ahead of last week, we also had issues with this other group of young men. A group of young men who I know their anger at us comes from jealousy. That being Buster Gates and his Revolution boys. You see, last week, the Learning Tree, I picked up a victory over those guys. I just don't think that he knows how to deal with that. But deep down, he knows that it's right because I'm one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. And how I'm here back on SmackDown. And I'm not going to stop until I become champion again. But now, clear the ring, because here in Marseille, gets a pop for that one, because I know you love that one, guys. I'm gonna take care of an old friend, Randy Orton. Salut, guys. Au revoir, guys. Gracias. No, gracias is Spanish. Por favor. Let's please. Fuck. I can't remember. Why am I forgetting what thanks is in French? But yeah, anyway, Chris Jericho. Here for the opening match with Randy Orton. Mercy, guys, of course. It just came to me now. But yeah, Chris Jericho and Randy Orton in the opening match. 79. No. Chris, TV matches, I guess he's fine at them. But yeah, Randy does pick up the win over Chris Jericho with an RKO. Buster Gates gets involved, and he screws over the Learning Tree. He chops him down at the roots. And Randy Orton hits an RKO, pinning Chris Jericho in 13 minutes 11. 67 for Chris, 80 for Randy. And yeah, that's big momentum for Randall Keith, heading into him and Ilya's Tag Team Championship defense against the Learning Tree's Aussie Open tomorrow night at Bad Blood in Paris. After the match, Jericho's throwing a hissy fit. He's not happy, he's big mad. He's getting angry, he starts kicking the ropes, and he's getting angry. Then Bodie's going, Chris, calm down. It's one loss, and we'll get him back. One loss doesn't hurt the Learning Tree tomorrow night when we become champions. And tomorrow night, you're free if you want to shake down Buster. And Jericho just sort of smiling goes, you're right, Bodie. I do have business to attend to tomorrow night. And he storms to the back. We then cut to the Hurt Business in their locker room. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Montel Vontavious Porter, MVP, and I come here with the next biggest update in the future of the Hurt Business. You see, business right now has never been stronger than it is. The almighty Bobby Lashley has never been closer to being the top guy here on SmackDown. All he's got to do is beat that idiot Swerve Scott at Bad Blood, and he's one step closer to becoming the World Heavyweight Champion, whether it be Xavier Woods or whether it be Drew McIntyre. Ricochet, the Prince of Flight, is finally on the right track to become a single star here in WWE like he was primed to always be. And as for the Lethal Weapon, Damon Kemp and Primetime Ronnie Hughes tonight, they're going to take one step closer to that goal by putting down the big anchor that was on Ricochet, being Big Bronson Reed. Unless, he wants to reconsider and join up with the Hurt Business. But because there's always time. And also Swerve Scott, that son of a bitch, who will learn sooner now or later that you don't rebel against this business, because this business is built to rise to the top. And what you see before you now isn't even the finished version, the finished article of the Hurt Business. He pulls out a card out of his pocket and he goes, because there's still a whole lot more clients on their way to join the fastest rising business here on SmackDown. Then cut to the ring. We've got 3 French women in the ring. Violette Martin, she's been in NXT for a while. I sent her, David, and Idris and Malik down because I had I didn't really have anything for them on the main roster. I like to move main roster guys down to NXT and then swap them around like they do in real life, basically. So that's where the French connection have been since they got murdered by Bronson Steiner. But because we're in France, I brought Violette back up for tonight, and then Calypso and Lej Gagne. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Lej. I assume the T's silent. Yeah, they were local French talent. So you got 3 French women in the ring, and out come Fatal Influence. And Cena goes, well, bonjour, Marseille. Now, our influence since we came together just a couple of weeks ago here on SmackDown is already being felt in this women's division. I'm already seeing a lot of positive upswing on everybody around here that's not, already a made woman. So here, tonight in France, I figured that we'd spread that influence and give opportunity to those who need it. Those homegrown French superstars getting the biggest platform they've ever had. You're welcome for the opportunity, ladies, because our influence will continue to be felt throughout the entire WWE. Then we get a quick 6-woman tag. It's the 3 French ladies against Fatal Influence. 47, sure, that's fine. Obviously, given that Violette Martin is the only person with any popularity whatsoever on the other side. And I think Zelina's taken a bit of a popularity hit recently because she was jobbing to get these 2 over. So now I think she's only slightly above Fallon and Aaliyah. But yeah, Zelina does pick up the win, pinning Calypso with a cutter. I guess a code red in 5 minutes and 6. 64 for Fallon Henley, 68 for Aaliyah, 63 for Zelina, 60 for Violette Martin, 22 for Lej Gagne, and 28 for Calypso. Then after the match, they're celebrating when out comes Shayna Baszler and Carmella. She goes, well, congratulations, girls. Don't get me wrong, it's always cool to see local talent get big opportunities here on SmackDown. But I can't help but feel like you're running from the rest of us here on SmackDown because you want to create opportunities in this division. I don't doubt that. But you're going the wrong way about it, because when I want to create opportunities in this division, I make them for myself. I don't care whose arm I've got to break, whose neck I've got to snap. I'll find a way to make myself known on this show, and you're trying to pretend you're doing this for some moral greater good here on SmackDown. But I've seen the likes of you come, and I've seen the likes of you go during my time here in WWE, and you're no different than the rest of us. You're no different from me and Mella when we came back last year, desperate to make ourselves known here on SmackDown, after we'd been away training down in Mexico. So if you want the opportunities, we'll give you the opportunities. We'll be your influence. And we'll let you have a 6-woman tag team match at Bad Blood. And so he's like, a 6-woman tag team match. Now, Shane, I know you fancy yourself a tough girl. You fancy yourself as strong as 2 women. But there's only 2 of you and 3 of us. And Carmella is like, no, you've made other enemies in your short time here. Raquel Rodriguez comes out. She lays waste, or she chases after Zelina Vega specifically. Shayna fights off Fallon. Carmella fights off Aaliyah. And then Raquel does plant Zelina Vega with that big Tejana bomb. It's now official now. It will be the pre-show match, the kickoff match for Bad Blood. Carmella, Raquel, and Shayna against Fatal Influence. But then cut backstage, Kayla Braxton says, "Then gentlemen, my guests at this time, the Royal Dynasty, Charlotte Flair, Ava Raine, Ariana Grace." And they walk in, all smiles. She goes, "Charlotte, last week we saw Ava in a very weird backstage interaction with Dakota Kai, and then, we ended up jumping the SmackDown Women's Champion." Charlotte goes, "Kayla, have you heard of a little game called chess?" And she's like, "Of course, yeah." She says, "Do you know the rules? Because the rules of chess are rather simple, Kayla. They're the same as the rules of life, really. You've got a king, and you've got a queen. Now, the entire purpose of the game is to take out the king. Dakota had her little pawns. They all got taken aside. My pawns are still fighting by my side. Last week a pawn tried to take the king, and she came up short. That's no big deal. But where the king can only move one space at a time, the queen, she can move all across the board, whatever she wants to. So I'm always steps ahead, Kayla. There'll never be a time where the king is steps ahead of the queen, because the queen can turn it around just like that. That's exactly what you saw last week when Ava humoured Dakota and her good girl attitude, because she likes to think she's some moral compass here on SmackDown. But it was all a ploy to get the jump on her and take her out. And now, the king, as she calls herself, is cornered. And tomorrow night, it's checkmate, bitch." And Charlotte walks off. And Ariana goes, "That's if she even makes it to tomorrow night. Because where Ava came up short last week, Charlie has instructed me to get the job done tonight. And I will take care of the king tonight." And she walks off. And then cut backstage. Jericho's still livid, and he storms into the learning tree room. It's like, "I can't believe what's going on. That Buster Gates guy, he calls himself world famous because he did one little acting gig. Big deal. I'm in the hit upcoming, I think it's still upcoming at this point, Terrifier 3, in theaters soon. Go watch it. He does one little role in the movie and he thinks he's hot stuff. He thinks he's more important than me, Chris Jericho, the GOAT, the greatest of all time." And Morgan steps up. He's like, "Hey, Chris, I saw you all out there, we're getting angry. Why don't you just challenge Buster to a match and prove that Learning Tree is where people go to pick up wins and that losing isn't acceptable?" And Fia goes, "Why don't you just sit down and shut up, Morgan, okay? You've caused enough trouble for people around here. Okay, we're all here. None of us want to be here. We're all here because of you sticking a knife in the back of your friends. The friends that you made back when you were part of Chase U, back before then, back in NXT. You stabbed them in the back for what? For this?" Because who invited you to talk, bitch? If you want to fight, I'll fight you tonight. Jericho's, "I know we're all going to be frustrated here, but it's about time Learning Tree, you got some steam off. And Fia, you need to talk about our star women's pupil like that, okay? Because she's going to come out on top tonight, and if you dare ruin this for her, there's going to be hell to pay. Okay, you dig?" Fia goes, "Oh, I dig, alright." And she walks off. So yeah, Morgan and Thea, a bit of I guess it's a Learning Tree civil war, but it's not really, because Thea is still part of the B team of the Learning Tree. The B team of the Learning Tree being the original members of Chase U. 76. Sure. I think it's because we're in France. That might have something to do with it. But yeah. Obviously, this ends with Baron Corbin and Grayson Waller somehow coming out. Baron Corbin, of course, is beloved here in France. He actually gets the bait. There's a reason why. Well, other than I need to get Corbin and Waller in the match. But there's a reason why I had a heel and a face on the other team. It's because I can actually do, Corbin getting that hot tag. He can just run all that on Neville. Neville can get all the heat on Corbin. And then, Waller can get it on Sammy, etc. But, of course, there is tension between both sides. And it does end up with Neville and Sami Zayn getting into a fight. Sammy hits Neville. He bumps into an End of Days. Baron Corbin pins Neville. And we will be getting a fatal four-way for the championship at Bad Blood. 78 for Sammy, 84 for Neville, 73 for Grayson Waller, and a 73 for Baron Corbin. yeah, I guess fine. After the match, though, Sami and Neville get into a fight. And Grayson Waller, being a little slippery prick that he is, he sees a fight going on. He tries to help Neville get the jump on Sami Zayn, so it's Neville and Waller beating up Sami Zayn. And Corbin sort of does, he stands there and he sort of realises, hey, I'm not teaming with Grayson Waller anymore. And he just turns around, he punches Grayson Waller in the face. And then we do get, a big four-man, but I do imagine the ending bit is they all end up on the outside. Sami Zayn hits the big dive on the outside, taking down all three men. And he stands tall with the championship. But it will be a fatal four-way at Bad Blood. Sami Zayn, Neville, Grayson Waller, Baron Corbin. We then get it's they do the prime target things. It's basically just that for Drew McIntyre and Xavier Woods, talking about their rises to the top, their falls, respective falls, I guess. And now Xavier Woods' rise back to the top and Drew McIntyre waiting to get his. The history of these two men proves that Drew McIntyre is the favourite tomorrow night. And it will be the main event, of course. I don't know if I've actually mentioned that, but it should go without saying. I mean, I guess it could be Dakota and Charlotte, but yeah, it's Drew and Woods. And yeah, will he become the new world champion, a 5-time world champion, and end Xavier Woods' reign so soon? Or will the king continue to reign? We'll have to wait and find out. Then see Dakota and Candice backstage. They're just chatting ahead of Dakota's match with Ariana Grande. He goes, hey, I've got to, take care of one of Charlotte's lackeys now. But yeah, remember what I said, this time next week we're both going to still be standing here. We're both going to be women's champions still. And Candice's like, yeah, good luck tomorrow night. She goes, yeah, same to you. Dakota leaves. We linger on Candice for a bit. And then Cammy and the Megasis walk up. She goes, oh, the confidence. I do admire it, Candice. I know all too well that you have overcome so many odds that you shouldn't have in the past. But why do you keep lying to your friends? Dakota, she's got a hard enough time as it is having to deal with Charlotte. And as much as I may not want to admit this, I do believe she can get the job done. But then you'll be the disappointment again. You've been the disappointment before, haven't you, Candice? You're a disappointment. When Tegan and Piper were the tag team champions and Dakota was the women's champion, you had nothing. That's what made you so hard and so pressed to get your hands on this. It's all about making your friends happy. So now you've bitten off more than you can chew and ended up in a bit of a situation where it all comes crashing down tomorrow night. So what happens after then? When Dakota's still champion and you're not? Is still going to be champions party? Or are you going to, maybe sit back and take a real look at the situation of what's going on here? And realise things, they may not be what they seem. But things are always what they seem over here with us, with Queen and Omega, because we tell you exactly what we're going to do and we're going to do it. And that's why tomorrow night, the Megasis, in just her 5th match, will be the new Liberty champion. And she walks off, leaving Candice sort of ponder on everything that's just been said. 76. Sure, that's better than Ariana. That's better than Ava Rain's match with Dakota last week. But Dakota does win with a scorpion kick in 8:36. 86 for Dakota Kai, 71 for Ariana Grace. And yeah, sure. Don't know what keeps saying the crowd heat is unclear. I don't know if that's good or bad. It appears to be not having too much of an effect on the actual ratings of the matches, so I don't mind. After the match, though, Dakota Kai is celebrating. When we see a commotion from the crowd. Well, but the crowd's making noise, but the people are on the stage. And it's Julia, Yoko, Utami, and Saya, and the Megasis. No, not the Megasis yet. Just those 4, without the Megasis. They're brawling 4-on-2 with Kairi Sane and Ember Moon. They just brawl out onto the stage. Dakota sort of awkwardly in the ring watching it. When the Megasis does appear from the back. And then she goes to even the odds. I say even the odds, they're not 4-2 up. But she comes out, Candice jumps out, she jumps on her back, she starts raining punches into the back of her head. We just get a big schmoz on the ramp of all these people. It ends up coming down to ringside. Kairi hits a big insane elbow off the top rope onto all of the Queendom girls. Gets all fired up. Adam Pearce storms and goes, enough of this, okay? If you two want to rip each other's heads off, you've only got to wait 24 more hours to do it. But I can't have this going on here on my show. Okay? You want to rip each other's heads off? Be my guest tomorrow night. Bad Blood. It'll be Saya and Utami against Ember Moon and Kairi Sane, and guess what? That match is now no disqualifications. So yeah, we're gonna get a tornado, no DQ fuckfest. What I'm basing the match off is, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens against Solo and Tama Tonga from Backlash, which was also in France, hence where the idea came from. But yeah, we're setting up that match basically, but with women. So it'll be Ember Moon and Kairi Sane against Utami and Saya. No disqualifications at Backlash Bad Blood in Paris. Obviously, Candice and the Megasis, and then Charlotte and Dakota. We then see Big Bronson Reed. He sat backstage when Swerve walked up to him. Goes, "Hey, big man. Me and you, we haven't really ever been introduced. I'm Swerve Scott. I'm from World Heavyweight Champion around here, and we've got a common enemy around here. Now, other than this guy right here," pointing at Lord Bando next to him, goes, I rode our friends a long, long ass time ago, because they did nothing but hold me back. But tonight we're allies. Tonight we've got a common enemy. I've got to beat the Hurt Business. Tomorrow night I've got Bobby Lashley. But tonight I get to take down the crux of the rest of this group. And these are the group who took your friend away from you." And Bronson Reed sort of does. He hasn't really said anything. He goes, Ricochet and I, back in the day, it was me who was joining the Hurt Business, and I was the one who ripped us apart. And now the boot's on the other foot. It doesn't feel so good. So of course, that's life. But look at the size of you and look at the size of Ricochet. Ricochet couldn't do anything about it. You can do something about it. It may be hard to want to hit your former partner, but as somebody who's done it, boy, does it feel good. And then Swerve leaves, and it's just Lord Bando and Bronson Reed in the ring. And he's like, I still have my contacts. I still have Out the Mud. Just because I'm with Swerve doesn't mean that I can't branch out and advocate for other people. And you're the sort of big man that I think I could help. Bronson Reed goes, I appreciate it, but I'm by myself at the moment. Angry Revolution promo. He goes, well, would you look at that, boys? All it took was for me to get my little nose involved in Chris Jericho's business, and he's had a meltdown. Okay, he don't know how to handle this, because you know why? You know why Chris Jericho can't handle my involvement in this shit? Because he knows I'm better than it. He knows that he's beneath me. The Revolution. They're far above this learning tree nonsense. Because quite frankly, he looks in the mirror and he doesn't see Chris Jericho when he looks at me. He sees Chris Jericho about 2 decades ago when he was cool. But when I look in the mirror and I think of where I'll be in 20 years' time, I ain't going to be where Chris Jericho is. I'm still going to be at the top of my goddamn game. So Chris, it's not for me, it's for you. You get the chance to dance with the world-famous Buster Gates at Bad Blood. I know you want to suck me in your little Jericho vortex. You want to give me the Jericho rub that you think you're giving all these other people that you're leeching off of, that you're using. Because you see, here's the reality check, Chris. The Revolution is a brotherhood. Sure, we fell on a little bit of hard times when I came back here, but we worked that shit out. Because that's what real friends do. Real partners do. You've created a toxic environment all around yourself, but you don't care. As long as Chris Jericho gets to look good, as long as Chris Jericho gets results, it doesn't matter. You can be blindly oblivious and walk around here smiling with a big stupid-ass grin on your face, waving to the people. It's just those deep-down insecurities of yours that you're trying to cling on to. And here's my idea, Chris. Just let them go. Let them go and become the washed-up version of yourself that we all know you are. Maybe life will be a little bit easier for you then. But don't worry. You've only got 24 hours to make that decision, because if you don't, after Bad Blood, when I stick your ass in the dirt, you'll have no choice. 77. That, again, feels kind of low. I don't know what's up with it. Oh, is it because we're in France? Never mind. Yeah. I was like, yeah, the ratings are going to be a little bit lower because we're in France. But yes, Swerve and Bronson Reed do defeat the Hurt Business, Swerve pinning Damon Kemp with the Swerve Stomp in 13:58. 85 for Bronson Reed, 95 for Swerve Scott, 69 for Ronnie Hughes, and a 67 for Damon Kemp. And yeah, nice win. Swerve got Bobby Lashley tomorrow night at Bad Blood, and he's put down the other two members of the Hurt Business here tonight. We then cut back to Nick Aldis in the office, and Johnny Gargano's in there. He goes, Aldis, I've been on the phone with my guys. They're going to be here next week on SmackDown. Yeah. And Aldis goes, well, that's great. I'm glad to see they're finally going to show up here on SmackDown. What do you want from me? He goes, I want Pretty Deadly and Brooks Jensen against me and my friends next week in a 6-man tag team match. It was great. That sounds like a fun time. I look forward to their arrival here on SmackDown. And then he leaves and Angelo Dawkins walks in. He goes, Nick. He goes, can I help you? He goes, I'm just seeing around here, fam. I don't like what's going on. 2 weeks ago, I was cut off trying to cut my promo. Last week, my words seemed to fall on deaf ears. Now it's my time to do something about it because I'm Angelo Dawkins, and I ain't gonna let people sit there and disrespect me. I'm just as good as Tez. You've got a demon on your hands here, Aldis, and you ain't letting him loose. And he goes, well, there's one thing I do like more than talent here in WWE, and it's confidence. And you've sure got that in spades, Angelo, as well as the talent that you do possess. So I'll hear you out. Next week, I'll give you an opportunity. You can have a match. I'll find an opponent for you. We can have a match next week, and we can get the Golden Prophet off the ground. Goes, cheers, fam. I won't let you down. So yeah, there's 2 matches set for next week. 6-man tag, Johnny Gargano and friends against Pretty Deadly and Brooks Jensen, and then Angelo Dawkins in action against somebody. We then see Tyler Breeze walking down the hallway when he spots Jacob Fatu. He's there, praying. He goes, hey, there's my big werewolf, huh? Last week that was impressive. You hoisted that 7'3" giant Omos above your head and you slammed his ass in the ground. What a win. I think with wins like that, it'll be no time before we get you the World Championship. And he goes, what do you mean we? There's no we here, Breeze. I ain't doing this for you. I don't even know why you're around me. He goes, well, because as a madman myself, I can understand where you're coming from. And I think I can take you to great heights. And then Jacob Fatu sort of pins him up against the wall. He goes, just keep your stupid ass out of my business before I'll toss you through the wall. And he slams him down. And Breeze goes, tough love, huh? I see how it is, big man. Don't worry, I've had family issues too. My dad, he was a piece of crap too, but I put his ass down at WrestleMania. Oh, 71. That's actually better than I thought it would be. But it's Thea Hale with the win. She beats Morgan in 8 minutes and 30 by pinfall. 57 for Thea, 69 for Morgan. And yeah, nice win for Thea Hale, but Chris Jericho seemed to imply earlier on that he didn't want Thea to win this match. And she's done it. So she's rebelled against the learning tree. Maybe this is a phase she could be entering. Who knows? After the match, Hams and Haley Paul get into the ring, and they sort of celebrate with Thea, Kyra and Zeta get in with Morgan, and then they jump the baby faces from behind. They plant the Shea Shoe Girls down, and there's the inner turmoil within the learning trees kicking off here. The women are fighting. Chris is getting angry at Duke because Duke gambled his life savings away and had to come crawling back. But whatever. Yes. Learning tree civil war is upon us. Next week, and we've got a couple of matches set for the show, including a 4-way tag team match. We're going to find the next contenders for the WWE Tag Team Champions. We had that segment last week where it was the Labyrinth and the Creed Brothers and a bunch of tag teams backstage. We're going to see the follow-on from that. Aldis said there was going to be something coming for the tag division. It is an opportunity for more of the less established teams to step up. And that will be the Labyrinth, OTM, the Creed Brothers, and the Revolution in a 4-way tag team match next week to determine who will be the next in line for either Aussie Open or Jacques KO's Tag Team Championships. Plus, Johnny Gargano says he's found 2 friends. We're going to find out who that's all about next week as they take on the Maximum Male Models trio of Pretty Deadly and Brooks Jensen. Plus, after the Jacob Fatu pinned him up against the wall, I guess he went straight to Nick Aldis and got himself a match as he'll face off with Tyler Breeze, the man who's trying to leech off his success next week. Also, the Golden Prophet, Angelo Dawkins. He's looking for that opportunity. He'll get that next week when he gets into the ring. We don't know who against, but it will be Angelo Dawkins in action. Plus, a singles match following Zelina's betrayal of Raquel to join Fatal Influence. They've got a 6-woman tag at Bad Blood, but next week it will be Raquel Rodriguez and Zelina Vega one-on-one here on SmackDown. And moving on to Bad Blood, that is 24 hours away, and we do have our entire card now set, including this official Fatal 4-way match for the United States Championship. It will be the champion Sami Zayn defending against not only Neville, but also Baron Corbin and Grayson Waller. Plus, it is now official, the Learning Tree himself, Chris Jericho, will be in action on the show, and he takes on the world-famous Buster Gates of the Revolution. And on the kickoff show, we will see Fatal Influences, Fallon Henley, Zelina Vega, and Aaliyah taking on Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, and Carmella in a 6-woman tag team match. 90. I'll take that. Carmelo Hayes and Daniel Bryan. And it is Carmelo Hayes who picks up the win with the nothing but net. So it says I've used the creative finisher, and I will explain what that is. So we got Bryan, doing his stuff. He's doing his big kicks. He hits a running knee on Carmelo Hayes, who kicks out. And yeah. And then towards the end, Bryan's in the corner. He's setting up for another Psycho knee. Carmelo Hayes jumps out of the way of it, and then as he leaps over Bryan, he continues running. He leaps off the ropes, he goes to hit that springboard, DDT. The way he does it is that I think it would be he runs off the ropes, bounces backwards, and Bryan is facing the other way, and then he comes down and plants him like that. So we hit that move, but Bryan will take it funny. So we'll basically say that Melo will hit the move. He'll go to pin Bryan 1-2, and Bryan will kick out. But we'll make the kick out look really soft, as if Bryan got legitimately fucked up from the move. And then the referee's checking on Bryan. He's holding the back of his neck. And Melo shoves the referee down, hits nothing but net on the back of Bryan's neck, and pins him 1-2-3. 93 for Carmelo Hayes, 79 for Daniel Bryan. Big win for Carmelo Hayes here. But Bryan, he's not looking all too well. He's down. He's still holding his neck. I'm not going to have him do the seizure cell because fuck that. But he is holding the back of his neck in pain. William Regal comes out to check on him. Pete Dunne comes out. Oney Lorcan, Dante Rios, Jonathan Gresham, all of them. Miles Bourne. And a bunch of medical doctors checking on his neck. And they put a neck brace on him. And then Bryan's he does get to his feet even though he's got the neck brace on. And he looks around all sad. He's I see. Neck again. And he turns around, and Pete Dunne and Dante and Oney are there waiting for Gresham. They're there applauding him. Miles Bourne on the other side applauding him as well. And he goes to hug Miles. He gives Miles a big hug. Then when he turns around to hug Pete Dunne and co., he gets met with a forearm to the face by Pete Dunne. Boos echo around. And then Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Jonathan Gresham, and Dante Rios swarm Bryan. They start stomping onto him. Miles Bourne is watching, for lack of a better term, he is Wheeler Yuta in this situation where he's no, I don't want to attack Bryan. But the other four lay waste him. They probably rip his neck brace off. Pete Dunne hits a bitter end on Daniel Bryan. He's down. Even William Regal is in there, and he's what the fuck? Don't do this. You don't need to go this far. Then Dante Rios grabs him. He locks him in that sleeper hold. Or that dragon sleeper. And Bryan just he passes out. He falls to the floor. And then Pete Dunne, Jonathan Gresham, Oney Lorcan, Dante, they leave through the crowd. Miles Bourne and William Regal checking on Bryan to end the show. A1. we'll take that. Something was really weird about the ratings on this show, but it's fine. What matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you on the other side now for Velocity. Velocity kicks off with the theme song of our old pal, David Martin. Of David Martin. And he comes out and he's got a microphone. He's got a woman by his side we've not seen before. And he goes, "Bonjour. Je m'appelle David Martin." Now, I knew that France was coming around. I knew Velocity was coming here to this damn country. And I thought that what better place for me to reappear here on Velocity than in France, in Marseille. Because I have something I need to tell all of you people. And that's that France sucks. For the last 2 years, I spent my entire time here on WWE being a caricature of your goddamn nation, a nation that I only have partial heritage to. Because I thought that I could represent that heritage to the fullest. But here we are, 2 years later, and not a damn thing has it helped my career. Because me and my lovely wife, Amira, we are from good old United Kingdom. And we are better than any damn talent from this stupid nation. And I've got one stood right here with his stupid French name. And it's time for me to rule. Long live David Martin, and God save the King. So yeah, David Martin against a French guy, a French region we have called Fletcher. That David Martin beats him 8 minutes and 17 by pinfall. 70 for David Martin, 24 for Fletcher. Says David Martin and Amira are a very poor combination. I'm just going to cheat because I think that even if you are, like, say they were a very poor combination in this game, you know, when you've got somebody that you're actually, you know, married to or dating, whatever, you shouldn't be a very poor combination with your actual girlfriend. So, like, I'm going to change that. But yes, David Martin is here. He is no longer French. He hates France, in fact. And he beats a French wrestler called Fletcher something tonight. Next match, Hideo Itami is back in action. He defeats Anthony Nese with a Kenta combo into a Psycho knee. Gets a 63, 59 for Hideo, 57 for Anthony Nese. And our next match gets a 70. Roderick Strong, another one who's been picking up wins recently. Now, you can see like a crux of a division, an actual consistent cruiserweight division forming recently. You've got Axiom, Cedric, Roddy, Hideo, and then you've got the Speed guys. In the Trios division, you've got LA Extreme still. You've got the Top Gun pilots and a bunch of other trios I'm still trying to form. And you've got new faces coming in, old faces still around. Still got your funny comedy characters that make a one-off appearance, like Andrew Everett and guys like that. Yeah, but Roderick Strong, another man picking up wins here on Velocity. And speaking of the Trios Championship, that brings us to our main event. It is Danger Zone and Top Flight, the Mavericks, or whatever I want to call them, taking on LA Extreme for the Trios Championships. There's an injury. Okay, I was like, what the fuck happened here? Danger Zone sustained a swollen maritime elbow. Whatever the fuck that means. And, yeah, they make defense number. Also, why was everybody so bad? Is it because the crowd was this end? Oh, whatever. France fucking sucks, apparently. Whereas in real life, that they would make the shows better. On this game, it makes them worse. Apparently the crowds over here are shit. But LA Extreme do retain anyway in a bad match. 67 for Santos, 61 for Jorge, 73. Like, Roosh got like an 88 last week. He was scoring in the 90s, now getting a 73. So, like, it must just be a France thing. 69 for Danger Zone, 69 for Ty Marley, 59 for Toby Marley. So, yeah, it's not like it's anybody's fault. It's just the game decided, fuck this match, I guess. But yeah, LA Extreme do win. And then we get our show, which scores us a 64. very underrated, not underrated. What's the word I'm fucking disappoint. That's the word I'm listening for. Disappointing episode of Velocity, if I do say so myself. What matters more, those what you thought of the show. Do let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Bad Blood. See you then.